Hi, everybody. Welcome into another edition of the GASOCast, episode number 38. And this one, we're going to start with a little bit special because it's the fun times in the office right now where we're diving deep into the rankings with 24s and 25s. We got the 24s almost done. 25s, we're about to go to the war room and talk about those. But, Blue, why don't you lead us off with a thought? We picked 150 is the number we're ranking in the 2024 class. Tell us a little bit about why.
I also want to piggyback off of what you were saying of how important it is, and I was telling this to Ryan yesterday. Is that our big picture of things is, we have the Great American Shootouts, we have all these tournaments, we have these showcases and events, and this is kind of a big deal here. You kind of wait the 3 to 4 months, throw it out there, see what sticks, then you do it again. It's little cycles, and it's a very intense, fun disagreements on everything, and maybe you might get a glimpse of that. I don't know how much of that Timmons is going to show you on the 25s, but why 150? That's a great question. There's no great answer for that.
Yeah,
I think that we've done it in the past that where we've gone to 200, 225, 250. What's enough?
I think we hit 280.
you were telling me 275 and 280 last year. I feel like.
Remember, you were telling the story to me yesterday where we had just papers scattered.
And so if you've ever done this, you can maybe empathize with us, or maybe you just think it's really easy and go with it. And I think there's a strategy behind it of 150. There is some power behind it in terms of like seeing your name in that 150. But I'm here to tell you right now, a little secret, the college coaches recruit from our database.
Yep, facts.
The database doesn't stop at 150. It goes all the way until
400.
We're done 450, 500. So I just think for what we are doing and how we've added staff members and everything else, that 150, real nice. But if you're on that list in general, it's pretty awesome.
Yep.
And if you're not, maybe we caught you on a bad day.
Yeah, right? I'm gonna expand on that a little bit. We have seen a total of 945 teams thus far as a staff, and while that is a big number, and that's a number that we're very proud of, there's also this understanding amongst us that there's a player that I've seen that's played really well, but Blue went to see him and he didn't play so well. So like there's this give and take, and sometimes we catch you on a bad night, but we have to continue to move along, and that's unfortunate. We don't want that to happen. We want to see you play at their best. We want to be as accurate as possible, but at the end of the day, this is a subjective game, and I don't know when I'm going to come see you or these guys are going to come see you play, but it could be on a great day and it could be on a bad day. So like we understand this is a human process that we try our best in, and as much work as we possibly can do, we're still going to miss it. And the rankings, too, I think, Blue, you mentioned it yesterday when we were having this conversation. This is like a culmination of our work. So, like, we're trying to be the best we can with what we've been given and what we've seen.
Yeah.
So, this is a really fun time. Our goal is to boost the kids in Texas because we have such a great product, and we're extremely lucky to see the types of players we get to see night in and night out.
We love advocating for them, and just as we
for free
when we go on just like as we jump onto Twitter, we want to be all inclusive of who just randomly comes to our mind and thoughts, and hey, let's just go with it. And so I think it's we're always working, and we always have more work to do. But 150, that's what's coming out on the newsletter.
Yeah. So just real quick before we start talking a little bit about 24s that kind of stood out to us in that ranking segment, this Friday's newsletter, these rankings will be there. You still get it for $14.40 or $14.60, whatever it is.
For the year.
For the year. A year's worth of GASO Fast Break newsletters for $14.40. You can go see the 2024 rankings. If you wait until after January 31st, in which the 2025 comes out the very next week, you're going to have to pay that $6 for a month or $36 for the year. Save yourself the little bit of coin and get the year-long subscription and see all the rankings we're putting out in 2023.
30 cents per week, 48 issues.
Yeah. It's a steal.
Yeah.
But with that being said, now we've all kind of highlighted the 2024 rankings, the Hayes in the barn almost. Talk about Blue. I'm going to let you talk about. Wow. I had to sneak one into every show. Blue, talk about a kid, Hayes Pounds, a newly ranked kid moving in the top 150.
He had always been in the back of my mind. He was at Wimberley. Kind of got wind of him a little bit last year. He's now at Austin St. Michael's. And you know what this is a case of? The communication between the high school coach and us. Went to a tournament. Hey, shout out to Cooper Land, the head coach at Austin St. Michael's, to say, hey, I was going to, we were going to, I was going to watch them, and I already knew about Hayes, but he kind of just put that bug in my ear once again. And so when I'm watching him, the way he can score in a variety of ways, his hard-nosed ability to play on both ends of the ball, and just like I said, his knack for scoring, the perimeter scoring, really caught my eye. And so he's been a guy that's been unranked, that wasn't even in our database, is now in our database and is in our top 150.
Yeah, and a guy who, if you've seen him this year, I don't think it comes as any surprise. I mean, it's good when we can kind of shine these lights whenever somebody jumps into the top 10. But in this case, it's somebody jumping from outside the top 10 to in the top 5 with Ashton Simmons. Mass, talk a little bit about why we made that move.
Yeah, Ashton has just been consistent. We've had a bunch of staff members go see him and kind of think the same thing. And this is a guy who doesn't have many weaknesses in his game. He's got some size. He can score, dribble, pass, shoot, has some real feel, can play on or off the ball. And these words that I'm saying, they sound kind of buzzy, but it's just like Ashton possesses all of these skills.
Yeah, he does.
And when you're talking about the top 5, which is obviously a very coveted spot, you're talking about a really high-level player, so he better not have much weaknesses. And
checks a lot of the boxes.
Checks a lot of boxes, and it's kind of been a late rise. And this is really fun to see. He's making a lot of noise. I've been tuned into the Region 3 6A District 21 that plays on Wednesday nights. I think they're going to Tuesday nights next week, but I saw Ashton score 8 points to come back and beat Summer Creek, the final 8 points of the game last week. It just, I went to double check it, and this kid's just a high major guard. He's just a really, really, really nice player.
Yeah, and for me, the 2024 that I highlighted, it's going to be good to know because I'm also in the newsletter. We're putting out some of these like talking points, like who were the huge stock risers who took big jumps, jumped from not ranked to the top 100, etc. And one of those guys for me is Tim Finau, jumping up 27 spots, moving into the top 100 in 2024. Really, I mean, at 6'9", 6'10", and just being that commanding interior presence. I think that this is not the end for his rise. If he can, continue to up that foot speed and become more productive on either end. I mean, he can continue to grow into that top 100 and get closer to the top 50. Moving on with some player news. 2 Texas kids named to the McDonald's All-American game. Ron Holland of Duncanville. And then we got to shout out Jakobe Walter, too. Took McKinney to the state finals last year. Not hooping here anymore, but he's still a Texas kid. We'll still give him the pub. We'll still claim him. So congratulations to both of y'all.
Kind of hard not to remember what he did in his final 2 games in San Antonio, and what he lived up to everything what Wes Watson had always told us about, the head coach at McKinney.
Yeah. So now to some coaching milestones here. Neil King at Cinco Ranch picked up win 300. Jeremy Mills down in Tilden, McMullan County, 1A ball, picked up win number 300. David Piehler, your old high school coach, Mass, 600 wins in the career. And then Rodney Courtney, Fort Bend Marshall, picked up win 700. Blue. Let's hear it.
Oh, well,
it's a huge milestone.
700 is a lot, and Coach Ronnie Courtney will be the first one to tell you it hadn't been easy. But when you go back, the one thing I wanted to say is that when you go back and he had T.J. Ford on his team, who was one of the best players ever. in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
With Daniel Ewing, the list is long. He goes back-to-back state championships. He moves on to Fort Bend Bush. I want to say about 2007, 2008. Somebody correct me. With Fort Bend Bush, Cameron Ridley, what happens? Win state. Then you fast forward to many years later. You're a very youthful young man, Coach Courtney. The trajectory in his looks like it could go to a regional. He doesn't want to talk about that.
Right.
Could go to a regional, go back to state, possibly even win it.
They've got a real chance.
700 wins. Congratulations. I mean, we can sit here and talk about everybody with Neil King and what a great job he's done, and Jeremy Mills going from 5A, 6A basketball down to 1A where he's coaching and teaching the game of basketball.
So moving on, big implications, and I feel like it's just a weekly segment where we talk about District 7 5A on this big implications because Birdville looks like they've got it going. They were up and down. Gehrig Norman was out for a big stretch of the year, but they just picked up a win over Denton, who was the leader at the turn of the district. And with the depth they have, Miles Amison, the Zakaria brothers, Clyde Cummings, Nico Lucero hit a huge shot for them down the stretch. It's just going to become a weekly segment, I feel like, at this point. If Argyle can pick up a win here, or if Colleyville Heritage can pick up a win somewhere, that district, I mean, like we said a million times on this show, is two really good teams are going to be left at home when it's all said and done, and that's just a shame. But moving on with some more big implications of Mass 21-6A. I mean, it almost should become a weekly segment at this point too.
Yeah, it's really, really fun to watch. Beaumont United has kind of separated themselves. That's very clear. But the 2 through 4, 5 is just crazy. And you can tune in on Texan Live or NFHS. All these games are streamed on there. So you can really keep a close watch on this district. I mentioned Beaumont Westbrook earlier.
Yeah.
And then Atascocita beats them last Saturday, and then there's some big games tonight, and it's just one to continue to watch. There are 5, 6 worthy teams in that district, and few are going to get left out. That's unfortunate.
Yep. Blue, I mean, a team that's right outside of our rankings that's been building a lot of steam, El Paso Chapin. Talk about them.
Well, they have a matchup against El Paso Burgess on Friday, which I think is big because they get right now they're cruising at, I believe, a 9-8-0 or 9-0 record in District 1 5A, and they haven't pieced it together. They have just had the right guys in the program to move forward after some guys have moved out, and so they have a 4-game lead on Burgess, who's in 3rd place right now, and they have a 3-game lead overall in the district. Chapin does, so they can continue to widen that gap with the win on Friday night, and then staring down that top 25 5A ranking.
Yeah,
from GASO.
So, moving on to our GASO gossip segment, we're actually going to play a game here called 40 Burger, 50 Burger, 60 Burger. Blue, you're going to start because we all have guys that put up crazy numbers. You're going to start. Jalen Crocker Johnson, 46 points, broke the school record.
Yeah, and I stole this one from Michael Timmons, who is not on today, but
I'm right here.
oh, there he is. There
Just
he is.
off
Yeah,
camera.
yeah, yeah. What do you want to say? Go ahead and start it off.
He broke it from his brother.
Yeah,
About that
yeah.
big time Tony Crocker, who played at OU, big time in San Antonio. One of the kids when I was growing up in that area was like one of the first high school guys I got to see. So it's cool for Jalen to break his brother's record.
Yeah,
And a lot to have to live up to, I guess I'm talking with Michael, a lot to live up to because, Tony Crocker was a guy that went to that next level, and you just, from the start of the 4 years, you saw the body development of changing, moving from a 5-man as a freshman into this role of a stretch 4-3 that's able to put the ball and then demanding the ball, scoring the ball, rebounding, just everything about his game. So congratulations for breaking that record, and he's got one up on his brother.
yeah. Now on to the 50 Burger where Finley Bizjack, 51 points, but sat out the fourth quarter.
Could have been a 60 burger, I guess.
I mean, how far do you want to go? I mean, it's become a running thing at every TABC where a TABC event over the summer where I go up to Finley after the game. He's like, what I have 38 again, like kind of a deal where it's been like 2 years in a row where he's had 38 or 39 in the first game. We talk about it, but 51 points. I mean, he has just been on a tear. Broke the school record at Byron Nelson for points in a game. So congratulations, Finley.
And let me just add,
in a big win over Haltom.
Yeah, let me just add about Finley. Like, there's always arguments over play. There's not many arguments over Finley.
No.
Like, we all have seen him be incredible, and it's really fun when we're all five so aligned on a guy.
Yeah.
And Finley's really phenomenal. I'm gonna say my guy because I woke up to this on Twitter. Josiah Jackson of International Leadership Prep. At Arlington Grand Prairie, went for 60 points last night. Josiah's a 2023, 6'3" guard, 60 points, 9 rebounds, 4 steals, 3 assists, and 3 charges.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. So good on Josiah Jackson. Man, I have not seen International Leadership Prep this year.
Mm-hmm.
This is intriguing.
Yeah, we might need to go
Not
out
gonna
there and
pop
get
in.
some eyes.
Say, what high school is that again? That mouthful? I mean, just kind of.
International Leadership of Texas at Arlington Grand Prairie.
There
It
we
flows.
go. There we go. Just rolls off the tongue. A winning streak that needs to be noted. We've kind of talked on it a little bit. Beaumont United, they've put together 22 wins in a row, sit atop 6A District 21. Next week, me and Michael Timmons will be on the road to go see, and it is on Tuesday, so thankfully our plans stay the same. So we will get to go see that Beaumont United at Humble Summer Creek matchup, then make our way over to San Antonio to see Brennan and Warren. So we'll have some GASO on the road content coming from you next week, and we look forward to that. So now, just to wrap things up, we got a lightning round. Players, news, anything you want to add here. Mass, I'll let you start because it was a huge upset, first and foremost, as a team perspective, WT White over Sock. But what you saw from the Price twins and then Isaiah Kalala, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I went into this game. I know WT White has a lot of talent. They've kind of had an up and down season.
Mm-hmm.
They needed this game against Sock after, they've kind of trudged through that first round of district, and this could be a turning point for them because they have a lot of talent. Yeah. I'll start with the Price twins first, and the athleticism, I'll loop Kalala back in, but the athleticism these three possess is incredible. And Ben and Jonathan in particular have the talent to shut down just about any player that they want to on defense. These kids are two switchable defenders, which is one of the more unique skills you can possess as a player. 6'7", long, can switch. And then when you get them on the offensive side, if you play an up and down game, look out. I told Timmons, I was like, next game you need to go to is WT White because you're going to get about 15 dunks. And then I'll move on to Kalala. Kalala is so intriguing because when you're looking at him as a big man, you see the feet, you see the hands. He went 7 for 7 from the foul line. I shot charted everything that he did. It was all 15 feet and in, but you can see the writing on the wall of his game expanding.
Yeah.
And I know he was a soccer player, and he's only been playing basketball for a very short time, but the future is bright for Isaiah Kalala. And I was just blown away by WT White just in general. I hope it's a turning point because that is a very fun team to watch, and you're not going to find 3 better guys 15 feet in than those 3.
Yeah.
So,
Blue, last night you got to see Midland Christian. That's always an entertaining group whenever we get to see them come up to the Metroplex. Talk a little about what you saw from that group.
They have a dynamic duo of a little bit of an inside-out game with Zach Day. Both 2024s, by the way, with Zach Day. He's about 6'4", swing man that can just knock down the shots from behind the arc. And then Josiah Ray, who's a 2024, and he's a post player that also can hit the 15 and stretch it out to the arc. But the way that, I love the big guys, and he's actually one of he's in a class of a few guys that know how to whip his body around, stick their body into the defender, and get big and wide. And that caught my eye. Even though he didn't touch the ball a whole lot on the inside because the passes weren't there all the time, he moved with the ball from block to block. You also being a big man, you have to appreciate that. Let me jump in real quick with one more. Cameron Woodbury, we'll see him again this weekend, but he's a guy that's just big, strong, and can knock down shots and just handle the ball, tight handles, for PSAT Academy that's going to be in the Metroplex at Marcus Sloan's event.
Yeah, and I'll wrap things up here with Nick Cody from Newman Smith. Got to see them take home a district win over Reedy last night.
Saw a few highlights.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
There were plenty, believe me, because, I mean, he's 6'8", and he's got the wingspan to just go force steals, block shots. I mean, he just the way he moves on the basketball court, you can just tell that this guy has that next level contributor written all over him, where he's just somebody who he was knocking down step back threes. He's really pure from the elbow, shoots it with a lot of touch, and then when he gets to the rim, it's a two-hand power dunk every time.
And let me say this: you text us in a text message, giving our audience a little bit of what you said. It's halftime. He has 4 points. How can I love his game this much?
Yeah, he was that good on the defensive end.
Because stats don't always tell the story. It's kind of like what we
a
say.
piece.
It's a piece of it, but what are you doing when you're not scoring? You're passing the ball, you're rebounding, you're blocking shots. It's so much more than just putting the ball in the basket. Who can you defend? Who can you guard? What other tools do you have?
Right.
I thought that was a great
Exactly. And that's going to do it for this edition of the GASOcast. Make sure you follow us on social media at TechSoupsGaso. Subscribe to that GASOcast YouTube channel. Like and turn on your notifications for at GASO Lyndon, GASO Blue, and GASO Mass. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time.